was that one?
You know that song? That's Jesus Don't Want Me for a Sunbeam.
By
The Vaselines. That's another one that Nirvana did on the Unplugged album.
Jesus. All right, tell me the song name again.
Jesus Don't Want Me for a Sunbeam.
Okay.
You don't remember Kurt Cobain doing that one?
I don't think so.
Jesus don't want me for a sunbeam.
And it's the Vaselines.
The Vaselines. 90s stuff, man.
Okay.
Good stuff from the 90s. Way back. Way back.
It's been a while. Everybody, welcome back to Great Measures. My name is Richard. This is Judson.
Great Measures.
So, I don't know how you're going to react to this because I didn't.
Probably like this. Or
I didn't.
Or maybe.
We didn't discuss this beforehand.
We don't.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about the band. I'm talking about why we're doing these things. So it's Women's History Month in March.
Yeah.
I thought we could sprinkle in some.
They get 1 month a year. They get 1 month a year, apparently. So make it a good one, women. I am kidding.
So we're going to sprinkle in some women in metal for the month of March.
Okay, cool.
I thought you might like that idea.
I dated so many. So many of the metal women.
I'm sure.
I'm just.
You've talked about them on here a few times.
Yeah, I'm just so into a lot of metal women relationships.
You might be after this one after this.
How do you know I haven't? We haven't been together already.
That's true. So the band is called Dying Wish.
No, not yet.
Not yet. The song is called Innate Thirst. And the front lady is a young lady named Emma.
Emma.
I'm gonna let you watch the video.
Okay. Just a lady fronter or a lady band all the way?
No, just the lady in the front.
No, we'll be good. What's the name of the band again?
Dying Wish.
Dying Wish.
Innate Thirst.
Sounds sexual, Richard.
Not quite.
No?
No.
Uh-oh. Well.
Not quite. Far from it.
Far from it.
You ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right, this is Innate Thirst by Dying Wish. Proceed, Judson.
Okay.
Well, let's hear it. What are your thoughts there?
You're not gonna tell me about them?
Yeah, so they're. You want to guess what the subgenre is?
Should I know this?
Yeah.
It's core. I don't know what.
It's metalcore.
Metalcore. Okay.
Yeah. So they're from Portland, Oregon.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They've been around since 2016-ish. This song.
I don't think we have many bands on the channel that are from Oregon.
I don't think so. This may be our first Oregonians.
Shout out to Portland, Oregon.
Sure. I don't know.
Shout out to Portland. I don't know. Portland's weird, bro.
It's different.
Shout out to Portland for being weird.
Yeah.
They push the boundaries of weird.
We got a buddy that lives in Oregon. He says that he's born and raised in Mississippi, and he just says it's a different universe.
Yeah,
he's in the forestry. His occupation.
That's a good place to go. I've been to Oregon before. It was a cool trip that I went out there. Went out there for a music festival, but hippie music festival. So it was great. It was beautiful, beautiful. But they pump your gas for you.
Everywhere?
I mean, the places I was, when I got out to pump my own gas, they looked at me like, "What are you doing, dude?"
Really?
Yes.
How long ago was this? Is this the 80s?
No, this was 2004 or 5. I always get those years mixed up. I thought it was 4, but it may have been 5. I was out there.
We still have a place in my little hometown that they'll pump your gas for you.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Rusty's Texaco.
Huh. I thought your mom would have been retired by now.
No, she's keeping it part-time.
That's not good.
Yeah, so they were formed around 2016. This song came out in 2021. It was on an album called Fragments of a Bitter Memory.
Okay.
But this is metalcore. This is one of those...
Why do people not like metalcore that are old heads? Why all you thrash heads don't like metalcore?
I don't know. Let them tell you. They'll tell you in the comments.
Yeah. Great. I mean, that right there to me had every element. Set the genre aside.
Sure. Take the title off of it.
Set the and what I mean is set the whole the ferociousness of the sound or the distorted, the scream. Set all the characteristics of the song aside in the sense of what makes it the genre, I guess.
Yeah.
And stuff, little tempo changes. First of all, a crazy tempo, and that's why I was sitting over here like, what are they? How are they counting this one? And they do a break. Sometimes that can throw you off. I mean, sometimes I wonder. Whenever I've written songs in a band before, I like to try to do that. Have a slower section or a bridge or whatever, just a different section, but it needs to run fairly well. If you're just putting together, like the Beatles did that. The Beatles would do in their Sgt. Pepper days, like the Day in the Life or Day in the Life as an example. They have specific sections of the song. You know that song, right? Mm-hmm. Where it starts off, crap. And anyway, it does it. I read the news, oh boy, whatever. And then it goes to that. Got up out of bed and got the cone across, man. Like, could be two totally different songs. And they put them, it's like I think that's how they produce a lot of their songs, is they would just.
And that's the Beatles?
Yes.
They suck.
Yeah. I'm the other side of that coin. So it sounded like what they were doing with Sir George or whatever. We're just getting, John would write a part of a song or whatever, and then Paul would, and they just stick them together. So you have, sometimes it sounds like that, and
is that how this one sounded to you?
Well, the point I'm trying to make is that when you do tempo changes like that in a song, if you do that too often, then it's hard to grasp a hold of. sometimes, you know, you could get confused. I know I've done that before when I was writing songs, and when we'd go to, if I had 2 new songs that I wrote and they were both kind of like that, they both had 2 tempo changes and they would go to a different key or something, I would be in the middle of this song and the first song, and then in the middle section would jump and accidentally start playing the other section because maybe it was in the same key or whatever, but sometimes there's no point of reference. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I like doing, I think it's really awesome to do that. And they do it twice, or maybe 3 times there towards the end. Twice. 3 sections. But, and then stuff like the bass breaks, you know, or whatever. And then noise, and then ding, play the bell on the cymbal.
I forgot that was in this.
So cool, dude.
Yeah.
So cool.
It's a staple before breakdowns in the core world.
Yeah. Is it? Well, see, I like the simplicity. You know, the making a lot of noise and then a small thing. You know, and it has more of a punch than everything that all the instruments together sometimes. It's just, I think that's intelligent songwriting. And I dug the way she was singing throughout. It's just the song has a lot of energy to me. And I like how metal, I don't know a lot of metalcore bands. Maybe the people that don't like metalcore are looking solely at the bands that came out as metalcore first. And they didn't hit their ear right or so. I don't know. Sure. I do not have that. I'm not well versed. It's just the stuff that I've heard so far. I just like the up and down, the chaos, and then the slower, you know, grooving thing. I mean, this song literally had everything I like about what a good song to me is, what an exciting song is, what one to listen to. I mean, again, despite the genre, so to speak, that's why I like the Beatles or any other band that may do that. It allows me to keep having something to chew on, and then I get surprised, and then there's just this little level of excitement every time that, you know, you hit that thing, boom, what's coming, and you kind of know, but then you don't.
Sure.
It just keeps you excited the whole time. Keeps you on your toes. I like that. Classical music does that kind of stuff. So, what's the song about, Richard? You tell me. Suicide?
Pretty much, yeah. I'll seal this message with my blood and a bullet.
Innate
Thirst.
Innate Thirst. Well, you know, I hope, what's her name, Emma?
Emma.
I hope she sees, she lives in Portland. They don't kill themselves in Portland. I shouldn't say it. It'll be okay, Emma. I mean, you think there's an innate thirst for
offing yourself?
For offing yourself?
Well, that's a pretty general way of asking that question.
Well, you can start in general terms. I mean, and then work your way back to the.
I mean, are you asking me personally if I have an innate thirst to off myself?
I mean, if it's innate, then that means it's in everybody.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Is everybody born with a thirst to?
At some point or another?
At some point. I mean, I'm sure it's crossed a lot of people's minds.
I mean, essentially, when you're alive, you're working yourself towards killing yourself one way or another, whether it be slowly or quickly.
Yeah, I mean...
Maybe she's just talking about death all the way. No, she's pretty specific, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I went to dinner with some people that I work with last night, and we had a meeting today. That's right. And yeah, it was today. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter when it was. And in the field of work that I'm in, we see that often. You know, there was a circumstance today that my boss got some pretty devastating news while we were together, and you know, it was a guy that was, it's none of my business. I didn't know the guy, but he was a clinical psychologist, very well known, was the face of a particular program, and had been clean and sober for a really long time. And they found him deceased this morning.
Oh, wow. Oh, no.
And that's a different, you know, if that's an overdose, that's a different circumstance than what we're talking about. But working in what I work in, talking to people that I talk to every day, and dealing with the baggage of that, you're constantly talking to people at their very bottom on the worst day of their life, and they are hanging by a thread to not end their life, you know? So I have a different perspective on it because I see it so often, so I can't really speak to it in a general sense, I guess. Does that make sense? Like I'm
Well, all right. How about this? You think that everybody...
And I can be loose about it, like, because, and I probably say things that seem a little bit harsh about it, or I probably speak about it more bluntly than I should, but I'm a little bit desensitized, or I can become desensitized to it, to an extent.
I mean, I sometimes I joke about it.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that because I don't want my words to be taken out of context, or, you know, as if I'm being cold or calloused.
No, we are in no way trying to. If you've gone through such a thing, know somebody who's done that. No, we're not thumbing our nose at that.
No. And I don't think we were being that way. I'm just saying that because I have.
Your hands off of the conversation here. Is that what you're trying to?
No. I'm just saying I have a little bit different perspective. So if we were to take this conversation down that road, I tend to say things a little more bluntly and a little more directly, and it could be a sensitive topic for someone if I speak about it in the way that I normally speak about it.
Well, all right, so here's all I mean.
I'm not saying you said anything wrong.
I wasn't trying to go down. I wasn't trying to go down the road of that. I was just simply trying to talk about, like in a generalized term. Do you think everybody, regardless of what they've gone through in their life, whether it be drugs are an easy one to sort of go down, but I mean, people with financial issues that crash end up. You know, I was watching this thing on Madoff the other day, and there's people that lost tons and tons of money who just ended up killing themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So, but do you think there's something innate in people that at some point in their life, for some reason, now it could be anything. It could be anything.
I don't know if it's innate.
That it goes, that it all of a sudden, because we're talking about, like you said, it's a serious thing.
I don't know if it's innate, but I would be willing to bet the mortgage that a large percentage of people
have considered
are presented with circumstances in their life where at the very least, they consider it as an option.
Crosses their mind, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's so too. I think probably everybody has. I think even maybe if they haven't gone through a low point, they consider it, because maybe consider it from the standpoint of, I wonder if I could do that, or is it morally wrong, or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Not necessarily trying to get into the conversation of whether or not it is, because then I'll really say some things that'll push some people's buttons, you know.
Yeah.
But and what I mean by that is I don't necessarily go if you kill yourself, then you go to a, you know, like I don't accept a religious view of it. But anyway,
sure.
anyway. I think I think everybody does. I think because it's a thing, okay. It's a thing that you have full control over in your life. Mm-hmm. So that may be the thing. You know, you say, well, You say you deal with people all the time that are hanging by a thread. And that's reckless to me. So whenever I was doing dope, I knew for years, I had gotten to the level where it was, every time I did it, I could die. Every time. Mm-hmm. I knew it and I was okay with it and came out on the other side. Sometimes I didn't. But either way, I wasn't actively trying to do that to myself, but it could have been a byproduct of what it was I was doing, and I was just okay with it. But so I think that's different sometimes than because there's a level of control in the sense, I'm trying to talk about the song here, and there's a level of control in the sense to say I have control over this. It's mine, meaning my life, and I can make this decision on my own if I want to, and then whether you believe this or not, or know or think this or not, whether or not everything is over once you do that. Obviously, you leave something for someone to go through after someone does that to themselves. So things are not over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that maybe the innate consideration of it has to do with the fact that it becomes something in a world where you have so little control, and you realize you have less and less as you get older, and every experience that you have, that is one thing that you do have control over, and that you don't have, you could decide. So that's what I'm saying about it maybe being innate, because we're always trying to grasp at something that we can control all the way, And that is one one action that is completely self-induced and self-controlled. So maybe it is innate. I mean, I think it's innate for people to try to grab a hold of things.
To have the power.
Control things. And maybe that's what she's saying in a sense, is it doesn't matter what method, I can choose whatever I want because I'm doing it. I'm just trying to understand the lyrics, bro. You see what I mean, though?
Yeah, I do.
So it's more a discussion of whether or not the innate, what is innate, and why is it, and why do we? Because it's just enough. I think it's just trying to have the power, have the control over oneself, and it's a misleading. It's a tough subject to talk about, but in general terms, it fits into a category of wanting to be able to control solely what you have going on, and that affects only you. It doesn't, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. It makes, this is kind of changing the subject, but not really. I wear a shirt in some of these videos.
You wear a lot of shirts in these videos.
I do, but there's a band called Skeleton Witch, and I haven't shown you Skeleton Witch yet, and I need to. But they have a song. I believe it's the song. It's called "Beneath Dead Leaves." I think it's that song. And the opening minute, 30 seconds of the song, there's a line, and I think his name is Chance. He was the vocalist for them back then. I'm trying to remember the name of the album, but he delivers this line. And it's kind of what you're talking about, where the control, it's the one thing you can control when your life is out of control. And he delivers this line, and I can't remember what he says leading up to it, and I will not do it justice. Like, it's one of those things that you have to hear it in his voice and hear the way he delivers it. But it says, "To time I will not suffer, I'll die by my own hands." And it's just the way he says it. Like, you listen to that song and you're like, he means that shit. You know what I mean?
It's a sort of a romantic thing in a sense.
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet is 2 suicides, and it's romantic. And I'm not saying there's I hope nobody gets any of this wrong. We're just
no.
But anyway, I mean, it's. I think that's a. I think that may be the deceptive. There's a deception in the thinking of the thing that we're talking about in particular, because there is an element of control to it. The thought itself can be intoxicating.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why everybody on some level goes, well, what if I did that? That might be good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's what you just
Because
said.
life is suffering.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something.
And people, if you want to end the suffering, you have the control over that.
Yeah. So yeah. But if you are or know someone who is suffering from thoughts of this kind of thing, please call somebody.
Please.
Please call somebody. Just call one person.
I don't know how we got on that. I mean, I know
It's
that's.
the song.
I know that's the song. I don't know.
Thanks, Emma.
No, it's a good. It's cathartic sometimes to go and touch on those darker sides of life.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Good conversations. I really like the song.
So back to Dying Wish. I like them because they, and I've voiced this 1,000 times, but I don't want this to be perceived in any, like, I'm not belittling anything. They pay tribute to a certain era of metalcore that I love, and they do it well.
An era of metalcore.
Yeah, that mid 2000s, early to mid 2000s to late 2000s style of metalcore. Like this is a new band. These are younger people. Started in 2016. You know, they let their influences bleed out.
I don't know enough about it to know if that's.
I know. I'm just.
No, but I mean, at one point they had this. What was at one of the breaks? The whole low. I don't know. Maybe it's 808. I don't know. It had that modern.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
808 thing, and just I don't know if that's what they're doing. Cool.
Yeah.
And then also let me go back and listen to some of that metalcore back then. I don't know.
You have so far.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I liked this song.
Okay.
This has been. I can put this on my list of things that I've really enjoyed so far.
Yeah. Shout out to Dying Wish and
So let's
Emma here in Women's History Month.
So let's recap. Call someone if you or know somebody who's having trouble. Well, there was a couple of other things that I wanted to say that I've just forgotten because that one just trumps.
I don't know you.
That one trumps everything. This was a great song. Oh yeah. You thrash heads need to tell me what your problem is with metalcore.
Yeah,
there we
let's
go.
hear that.
And shout out to all the women out there. And keep it going. You got most of this month to go.
Yeah.
And I really like this song. From Portland, and shout out to Portland, Oregon.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We are Great Measures. My name is Richard.
Thanks for showing me this song.
You're welcome. This is Judson.
Great Measures.
That was Innate Thirst by Dying Wish. Have a wonderful day, everybody.